Hey y'all. Hey, hi, howdy. Welcome back. First things first, Lord, it is so hot outside. I am telling you, it's pitiful. Okay? And one thing about the heat is when the heat rises, people just start acting a fool. I'm telling you. This is a phenomenon that I noticed growing up in a really, really, really bad neighborhood. Anytime that the weather would start getting warm, people would start getting out, people would start having parties, you have more robberies, you have more shootings, people start acting foolish. I don't know why, but I looked this up years later, and it turns out it's true. There has been a studied and documented note that crime rises when the heat rises. And I think what I read was that psychologists pose that, it possibly has something to do with the rise in your body temperature, possibly raising your heart rate or your blood pressure or something, some sort of correlation there. I'm sure it needs to be studied further, but it's really hot. Um, and I was reading the news bulletin the other day, and here in this little town I live in, over the weekend, this little 19-year-old girl was at a party and she got shot and killed just 10 minutes down the road from me. It broke my heart. I hated to read that. Just absolutely hate that. So, take care of yourselves. Just be careful. People act so foolish in hot weather. But we're not here to act foolish, are we? We're here to have fun. So, here we are, trying to beat the heat. And I have got some pens here. This is my July currently inked. I think I've got some fun ones on the tray this month. I'm real excited. Also, look how cute this is. This is an Aerofil paper notebook, and I just glued this little piece of scrapbook paper on top of it. I think it looks so cute. It's like a new cover, and it sticks on there real well. I just thought that was so cute. I might even do that to my Tomo River paper notebook. I might find another piece of scrapbook paper and glue something to it to give it a new cover type of feel. Anyway, July is my birthday month. So, I felt like I was really in the mood for what some of my friends have started colloquially calling daisy pens, because my name's Daisy. And a daisy pen is just something that evokes my personality. Something very bright and colorful and fun, pink, sparkly, rainbows, anything along those lines is anything that my friends would call a daisy pen. So I tried to pick as many daisy pens as I could for this lineup because it just brings me happiness and fun. And here's the pens that I have chosen to ink up this month. So first, I'm going to move this over here so that we can kind of focus on the individual pens and admire them. This is my Banu Euphoria confetti milkshake, and I have inked this one up with Kobe Inks number 30 OG Cherry. And this one is a hashtag Maria made me do it, because I was watching Maria's 30 Inks 30 Days, and she used this ink. It's this top one here. This is my my currently inked page here. It's a OG Cherry. And when I saw that on her 30 Inks video, I thought, I have to try that. It just looked so pretty and vibrant. It was like this right on the line between pink and red, kind of, to my eye anyway. Like, some people might see this and think, oh, that just looks like a hot pink. But to me, it was coming close to blurring the line between a hot pink and a red. And I just really loved it. And you know what it reminds me of so much? It reminds me of like red cream soda or something. Uh, I just, I just love the way this ink looks so far. I'm still working on transcribing stuff, so I'm not going to do like a full-on, this is my experience with the inks, because I'm still working with them. But so far, I'm really enjoying this one. I have a sample, and I'm really excited to keep using it. So next is an ink that so far, I'm glad that I only have a sample of, because I don't know if I would purchase a bottle of this ink. But it is interesting to play with the sample. So I put this next ink in my Kaweco Sport, and this is that apricot, I think it's called the Apricot Pearl. I'm not 100% sure. But I really loved this little Kaweco. I love these things, these little tampon pens. They're so cute, ain't they? And I thought this color was really fun. And I paired that with, I have a sample of this. It's the IWI Colors of Nature Spring Equinox. And I have been transcribing. This is a writing sample of it down here. As you can see, this one is not going super great. I'm going to keep playing with it. I'm going to try it on some different papers. We'll see how it shakes out. I mean, you have to admit that, the combination is appealing. I feel like, you can see the appeal of this pen and this ink together. But I think this ink might just be too light and too feathery. I mean, it's been fun. We'll see how it shakes out. I'll have a better update in a couple of weeks. So next, I did get the Navalore Pride this year. I missed out on last year's, sadly. But I did get the Navalore Pride pen this year. I'm going to slowly rotate it so you can see all that sparkly, colorful goodness. And you can probably see an ink floating around in that ink window. And this ink is Rohrer and Klinger Helianthus. And this is a broad nib, by the way. I got a broad nib on this one. Side note, I did not know that Narwhal does not mark their nibs. What I mean by that is, as far as I'm aware anyway, there's not any indication what size the nib is on the nib. So, for example, like on this Banu, this is a Schmidt nib, and if you look really close, you might not even be able to see it if my camera don't focus, but there is an M on the nib to indicate that it is a medium. And I think the Kaweco pens do it too. Yeah, like right there on the nib there's a B to indicate that it's a broad. I'm so sorry that my camera's not focusing. If you know what I'm talking about, I just wanted to sort of show. And like the Lami, this one has the M for a medium. Even Yovo nibs, like this is a Yovo here. On the side of the Yovo nibs, they have an etched letter to indicate the size of the nib. I feel so embarrassed that this is not focusing when I need it to. So you'll just have to trust me, or just pull out one of your Yovo nibs and turn it to the side if you have one. But anyway, I bring this up because I think it would be nice. I think it would be more user-friendly if they included a little etching or engraving of what size the nib is for the Narwhal pens. I know they make these in-house. If they do have some sort of size indication that I'm not aware of, please leave it in the comments below. Because I'm looking on here and I don't see anything. I don't think they do. But anyway, yes, I think that this ink looks so fun floating around in there. As you can see through that little ink window, it's so bright and cheery. And this is a broad nib. And somebody had remarked to me that that they were jealous of the way that Helianthus was looking on my paper because to them it shows up too light to read. And I would imagine that could be the case if you're using a really fine nib. But in this broad nib, it is legible and it looks nice. I mean, it's light, but it's not so pale that you couldn't read it. You can definitely still make it out. Speaking of inks that you cannot make out, that's definitely the category that this next one falls into. Sadly. So I purchased a sample of this. So this is my Lami Safari. This is the spring green. And I inked this up with a sample of Colorverse green tea. Now, I got a sample of this because I was browsing the Van Ness website and I saw the picture that they had on there. And to me, it looked like it would be legible. And it looked like it would be a nice Mountain Dew color. If you can't tell by my accent, I'm a huge lover of all things Mountain Dew, including Baja Blast. And I have been looking for inks that are the color of Mountain Dew and Baja Blast as like a little personal side project. So I thought I would try this one out. So far, this one is definitely not fitting the bill. I'm sorry to say. It is just barely legible. I will keep at it. I will keep experimenting with it. Maybe I'll put a broad nib on this and see how we do, but it is not going well so far. Okay, next up, this is a new one. I don't know if it'll still be there when I put this up, but I bought this because, well, for two reasons. Okay, reason number one, I really wanted a green pen that featured the shade of green that is sort of olive toned or matcha toned. Because I like that color and I love the gold hardware, so that's basically why I purchased this. But also I purchased this because it's in the last chance section on Atlas Stationer's website, or at least it was. And I got this very recently, like last week. So I don't know if it is still there, but that basically made this pen $90, which is half off. So if you are interested in this pen at all, I think that is about the best deal that you would get on it, unless you happen to get one from one of Atlas Stationer's monthly Discord sale thingies, where they sometimes offer discounted pens, but it's really, really hard to get one. Anyway, yeah, $90 for this pen. I feel like that's a much better price than the full retail price. Especially because of what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so let me talk about the pen and the ink, and then I'll get to my gripe. So this is a medium nib. I was just looking on the nib to look for some sort of indication of what size it was, even though I just talked about how they don't mark to indicate size. That was goofy. So I inked this up with Ferris Wheel Press Goose Poupon, which I have a small sample of that, and I've only used it once before, so I thought I would try it again. So far, this writes a little bit dry. So I'm not sure I'm going to work with it. I also feel like the tines on this are maybe a little bit too tight. So I might see if I can put like a brass shim in and floss them just a little to see if I can open them up. But it does feel a little bit dry. Not terrible, just a little drier than my preference. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my gripe. If you have never used one of these pens before, if you've never purchased one, if you've never used one, and if you're not familiar with the controversy about their piston mechanism, I just want to go ahead and inform you right now about that issue, because wow. So I have a friend here on YouTube. Her name is Karina Loves to Plan. And I have a couple other friends in Simone's Discord that talked about this, because this issue is so common. But as far as I know, this company has never addressed it on social media or anything. So unless you know somebody who has experienced this, or you've seen Karina's video on YouTube, you probably won't know about this. But this company, Narwhal, or Navalore, however you want to say it, these pins have a major issue with their pistons. Their pistons basically break very, very easily. And what I mean by that is that when you're trying to ink up the pin, the piston will just pop out and then not ever screw back in, and then it's broken. They do not provide a wrench for you to be able to put the piston back into the pin. Now, I purchased this and this knowing about this issue and fully anticipating that I might have a pin break on me. So that, I feel, is partially on me. However, I feel like at this point, this issue is such a big issue that Narwhal should provide a wrench and instructions on putting the piston back into the pin with their pins. Or they should just straight up remove the piston mechanism as a filling option. Just have this be a decorative end cap and have you take the nib unit off to eyedropper fill it and advertise it as an eyedropper filler. When I first went to fill this, it broke. Okay, so I'm talking about 5 minutes. I open the box, I look it over, I make sure the tines are aligned, I ink it up, boom, it breaks. Now, I was watching Karina's video on this pin, and in her video, she talks about how she had to contact, I thought I saw something in my ink window, but it was just a trick of the light. Sorry, let me put it back in frame for you. In Karina's video, she talks about how she ran into this issue as well. Like within a week of her getting her pin from this same company, it broke, like the piston broke. And she couldn't fix it because she didn't have a wrench. So she had to contact the company, or she contacted the retailer she bought it from, and they told her to contact the company, and the company offered to replace it or to send her the wrench. And she said, send me the wrench and I'll try to fix it. And they included a video on how to fix it when they sent that to her. And she said that it was a simple and easy fix, but it was just very frustrating for her. Well, now I know how she feels, because this is very frustrating to go to fill a pin and have it instantly break on you. Since I didn't want to go through that mess, I did not want to contact the retailer and then the manufacturer and then wait 2 weeks for, the wrench to come in. Like, I wanted to go ahead and write with the pin. So I'll tell you what I did. Let me find it. Here it is. This is the next best thing that I had. I have this pair of tweezers, and this will work if you have tweezers that are this shape. They specifically need to be these tweezers that are that come down and out like this. They have to be like that. But the tweezers like this, if you unscrew the piston knob, you will be able to grip onto it and then twist the piston mechanism back down into the pin. And it works in a pinch. So that's what I did. And then after doing that, I tried to fill this with the piston like 3 or 4 times, and I made a big inky mess all over the place. So I finally gave up, and what I did was I just filled it. I just unscrewed, I held this and I unscrewed the nib and feed. I took the collar, the whole unit out, and then I just dropper filled it and put this back in. And that worked better than the piston ever was. So, I don't know. It really, to be honest, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't mind. I don't mind doing it that way. I don't mind filling it that way. I don't mind cleaning it that way. The only thing that bothers me is that it's not advertised that way. I feel like it irks me when a company advertises like a piston filling pin and the piston don't properly work. That is the bone that I have to pick with it. So that's my spiel. I hope that somebody found that helpful or informative or useful. Whew, okay. Let's keep it going. Okay, so next we have a pin This was a custom pen, and honestly, I like this material so much that I'm thinking about getting another pen from a different maker in a different shape with this material. This is pastel prism material. I picked one that was really pale and had a lot of white. That was honestly my bad. The maker showed me the blanks and I chose a pale one thinking I would like it. Well, I decided I want one more vibrant. So I think I'm going to have another maker do me one in a more colorful blank. Anyway, this is from Wood Wonders of North Carolina. And the ink that I am pairing with this one is Waringul's Pinocchio. I bought a sample of this, and I chose this one because, as I said before, I'm looking for my perfect Mountain Dew and Baja Blast inks, and I thought this one might be a decent runner for Baja Blast. So far, this is a big contender for pairing of the month. It's just really smooth and juicy. I'm really impressed by this pairing so far. Okay, next we have a really fun new pen. This is pretty recent to my collection. And I just want to highlight how sparkly this is. Oh, I absolutely love that. And the finial, how dreamy. It's so pretty. I absolutely love this one. This is a pen that I've vied for one of these Candy Nougat pens for ages. I'm so happy that I finally have one in my collection. I got this with a medium nib, and I paired this with this light blue color, and this is Jacques Herbin Diabo Mint. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I know it's French. It's like a very, very light sky blue, and it is very light. At times, this one is almost not legible, kind of depending on the pen and paper, like the paper combination and stuff. But I'm still really enjoying it. This is the second time that I've used this ink. I have one of those tiny little 10 ml bottles of this one. And the first time that I ever inked this one up, I don't know if it was the pen or the paper or the combination of both, but it feathered pretty badly. It's not really feathering on me now though, and I'm really happy about that. So this one's kind of fun. You know, I feel like it's very difficult to find a blue that is this pale. It's very pale, but it's also this is the most oxymoron, I swear. Y'all are gonna think I'm gone silly. It's pale but vivid. Does that make any sense? Like, it's a very light color, but it's still vivid. You know, it's not like a dusty, powdery blue. It's a very bright blue. It's just also very light. I don't know. Maybe that made no sense whatsoever. Anyway. Next up we have my super fun flamingo pen. This is the Banu Euphoria in tropical... Is it tropical blush or flush? I don't know. I do not know. But what I have to show you something on this pen, okay? When I got this, I was so mesmerized because look at the blue. It's supposed to represent water, and to me, as you turn it, it almost looks like the water is moving. Maybe you don't see that, and maybe I'm just crazy. I promise I have not taken any drugs or edibles. Maybe I'm seeing things. But I just thought that was really pretty. Like, I feel like the blue of the water has... It feels like there's movement in the material. Maybe it's the way the light hits it or something. I don't know. But if you're not aware, I bought this because my mom and I have a big... Well, because it's pink, number one. And two, because my mom and I have a big flamingo connection. She calls me her little flamingo. And years ago, I had my room done in flamingos. And I have a flamingo blanket in my office somewhere. And she even bought me a Christmas cup one year. I had these flamingos riding in a Christmas truck with little Santa hats on, and it said flamingo all the way. So we sort of have this little, she calls me her little flamingo. So I love this. It's so fun. It's, you know, it's something that's a little bit more personal to me. Of course, it's got the fun, beautiful colors and stuff, but it has that little flamingo motif, which I love. I paired this with something that I thought would be like a really pretty sort of ocean blue. And that is Venta Ink's Rain Shower. This is another pretty big contender for pairing of the month. This ink has been really fun, really good, and consistent so far. I don't have to rotate the pen to get the sparkle. The sparkle seems really consistent, so that's been really good. Okay, next, this is my newest pen to the collection. I know that you guys are going to recognize this. This is the new Gold Spot exclusive Leonardo in Bella de Notte. I got number 144 of 170. If you got this, tell me what number you got. So I'm just going to kind of rotate this and let you see the material. I feel like a lot of people have been wanting to see what this pen looks like because, you know, there's so many kind of variances in the material. I really love mine. Mine has this big sort of flash of red through here, but I love that. I feel like it looks like an evening sky, you know, red sky at night, sailor's delight or whatever. I don't know. It's fun. So here's an uncapped so that you can see, you know, the grip section. Ooh, look at, is that chatoyancy? Bam. I paired this with another Venta Inks offering. I paired this with Venta Inks Salim Bay, which is like a soft purple. Or maybe even blurple. Or lilac. It's like a bluey purpley sort of color. And so far so good. It's totally fine. It's just not competing with Rain Shower or Pinocchio. Those are my two probably favorites so far. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have a really fun pen. This one is very difficult to see the details of unless I put this on like a white background. And I'm sorry, I know that there's like an inky mess going on in the cap, but can we just take a minute to admire this material? It is like a pastel rainbow with a little bit of gold glitter inside of it. And then the cap has these little floral and opalescent bits. This is truly a work of art. This pen was made, this material, the blank, was made by Pasqual pens. And he sent this material over to Papa JWW Woodworks on Instagram, and he made this for me. This is so stunning. It's really an interesting demonstrator. It's just beautiful. I've got to get some clips of this in daylight because I just have like dark, dank basement lighting down here. Sorry. Hashtag Swamp Goblin life. But in the sun, when the sun hits this, it's really unbelievable. You know, it's like the pen just comes to life. This is such a beautiful pen. It's amazing. And the polishing, also the threads. Wow, the threads are incredible on this. I'm so impressed. Super, super fun pen. And in that one, I decided to put Birmingham Pen Company Psychedelic Magenta, which is like a really fun magenta color, pinky, purpley, really fun. I thought that would be a really fun choice. I have not gotten to write with this one much because the month is still early and I've been so focused on like my other pens. Because I typically like to go in alphabetical order, you know. But what I have written in it has been really lovely. Okay, so that's what we've got going on so far. I will be back in a couple of weeks to give more insights about these pens and inks and how they worked out for me during this month. I will have writing samples on multiple papers, which will be awesome to see, and we will compare and contrast. Okay, have a good one out there. Stay safe with all these crazy people in the heat. Stay hydrated. All right, later.